Welcome back to the basement, where it's top level content from the lower level. I hope you guys have been enjoying the mini-series. I know Wednesday's episode was a little short, but not a lot of information on those on the two folklores we went over, the Snallygaster and the Greenbrier Ghost. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Monday's episode was the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Alright, man. I made it good last episode without stuttering that name, but this one, not so much. How you guys feeling about these last two episodes?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like we got a lot of good information out there.
I feel like our last episode, there's not a lot of information on the Snallygaster, but the Greenbrier Ghost is pretty short and to the point.
Yeah.
You know, lady gets murdered, ghost comes back, was like, nah, I didn't die of natural causes, this dude killed me. They exhumed the body, the autopsy finds exactly what the ghost said to be accurate.
Absolutely.
He dies in prison. I mean, you know, that's pretty straight to the point. But today's episode is probably the most requested West Virginia folklore.
Yes. Before we get started, because we do a little sports element, how about the 3-time slam dunk champion from Gate City, Virginia, Mac McClung?
Right here in Appalachia.
Appalachian folklore in the making right now. So, this is probably the most widespread West Virginia folklore story that we have. I didn't realize this till we dug into this deeper, how this is a worldwide folklore, but it hit mainstream media in West Virginia, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to be exact. And we're talking about the Mothman, the Thunderbird, as the Native Americans called it, was the Thunderbird. They had the same instances with it. Now, the thing with the Mothman, when you first hear about it, everybody wants to talk about the Silver Bridge?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In Point Pleasant, when it collapsed. They're saying that a lot of people seen Mothman on the actual bridge, or hovering above the bridge, or flying around the bridge before it collapsed. Which is a lot of times it brings us to question is this a warning? Or is it a guarantee that you're going to die? Or is it trying to tell you not to come here? And we'll dig further into that the further we go along, and look at other instances around the world where Mothman has showed up and either gave a warning to go away, or maybe he's inviting you to let you know that you're going to die. So let's go into the Mothman. The description of the Mothman has been the same, pretty consistent everywhere around the world. Either a solid black, silver, white, or brownish and black. But there's always been one consistent with the Mothman.
Those piercing red eyes.
The piercing red eyes. Some instances they say that the red eyes are on the head. But a lot of them say that the red eyes are in the chest area of the Mothman. But there's one thing for sure is people say when you see it, you get instant fear, instant freezing, instant just a bad overall feeling of what impending doom, I guess, if you will, is what you feel when you see the Mothman staring at you. One thing is with Point Pleasant, West Virginia, they have embraced the Mothman.
Oh, absolutely.
You have a huge metal statue of the Mothman. And adjacent to the Mothman statue is the Mothman store and the Mothman Museum, which you can go in and buy t-shirts, buy stickers, buy plushies, and everything.
I'm just saying, since we're talking about taking the boys up to doing that football camp up in Huntington, I say we make a quick detour down to Point Pleasant.
Absolutely.
You know, swing by there, look at the statue, get a picture of the basement with the Mothman statue.
Yeah, most definitely, because I mean, this is definitely our most requested topic.
Oh yeah, I mean, people travel all over the country to go to that Mothman statue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you were just talking about how Point Pleasant has embraced Mothman. Mm-hmm. They actually have a Mothman festival.
They do. Yeah. They have a Mothman festival, which is like a whole weekend. And I actually was going to go up there one year, and then COVID happened.
I remember, because we were talking about that, seriously talking about it.
We were all going to go, and it, Don't be texting me weird stuff like this. My wife just asked me if that was thunder. Did you guys hear thunder?
No.
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 That's terrifying.
Didn't hear it. Didn't hear it. Sorry about that, guys. That's part of the world we live in. I mean, I'm married with kids, so...
I mean, and, you know, this is going to be Friday's episode. I'm sure that we're going to be recovering from this, but we're still in the middle of that torrential downpour right now. There's flooding going on everywhere. We're probably going to be needing a boat to get back home.
Absolutely. Like right now, I mean, there's reports of missing people. Why is it doing that? There's reports of missing people everywhere right now. I mean, there's literally a video of a Mustang floating down the river in southern West Virginia. But we digress. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But with the Mothman, where was we at on that? Oh, the Point Pleasant and how they celebrating. It is a celebration. Even on the game we mentioned it on Wednesday, the game Fallout 76 actually has multiple different types of Mothman. Because we don't know if the Mothman's aggressive.
No.
Because some instances he is.
Yeah.
Some instances we don't know if he's warning us or if he's a good omen. We don't know.
Because we haven't, like, I looked up a lot of stuff about the Mothman, and I didn't see one thing that said that he's directly attacked a human being.
I have.
Oh, you have?
I have. One of the first sightings of the Mothman was up in West Virginia. This couple was driving. And they actually had a couple in the front seat and a couple in the back seat.
I do remember just reading that one. Okay.
And they were driving and they seen this humanoid creature with these huge wings. They said it spanned halfway across the road.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, back then that could be anywhere from 8 to 14 feet. And it chased the car. They said in instances that it was in a Bel Air. 50s models Bel Air. They were going over 100 miles an hour, and Mothman was keeping up with them until they got to the edge of the town. But instead of going in and telling what happened was, they went back to investigate because they convinced themselves it was just a big bird. I've never seen a bird that size, honestly, and I don't think I would go back. But they went back, right, to check, and there it was in the middle of the road. And what did it do? It chased them again until they got almost to this edge, almost to the town. So they went back straight to the courthouse. No, they went straight to the courthouse, told them their findings. The police like, let's go get it. They go down there, nothing there. Everybody that's reported the Mothman is reported that he flies straight up like a helicopter. Shoots straight up. Never really flaps his wings except on takeoff. It's more of a gliding wherever he goes. But can glide up to 100 miles an hour is what they're stating. Jeez. So with that being said, is the Mothman bad? Is he good?
I do know that they report, like in the same places that they report sightings of seeing him, there's also reports of like dogs going missing or dogs being killed and stuff. So apparently that's his food of choice from the rumor of it. I still am kind of torn on what is he like? Is he just the angel of death? And is he warning you that something's gonna happen, or is he threatening?
Well, I have a list of several things that have happened, and this is one I just remembered. Is in Germany. They got on their little mine cart. The coal miners did. They was getting ready to go into the mine, and they seen a creature. And they thought it was a man in a trench coat. But what it really was, because he was about 6 foot, it was its wings, like unfurled. And it swung its wings out, and they seen its eyes just standing in front of the coal mine. And they couldn't, blocking their way into the coal mine. And they just sat there, frozen in fear, didn't know what to do. And they sat there, and they all just stared at each other it's probably to them, it seemed like eternity.
Dude, if I did that for 5 seconds, it would feel like an eternity. Like staring at Mothman.
This Mothman let out this excruciating screech. Loud.
Yeah.
So they all, of course, at that point, they all hightailed it out of there. It was moments later, a loud boom happened and just smoke and dust went up. The mine collapsed. The mine completely collapsed. And if those men would have made it into that mine at their stations, they would all been dead.
So it seems like in that scenario anyway, he was definitely a
Warning.
warning. Yeah.
There was another instance where there was an American, traveling to Japan, and they just happened. They was eating close to, was it Fukushima, where the nuclear mine disaster? I mean, the nuclear reactor disaster after that that earthquake.
Yeah.
They were out there eating, and they looked, and they said what he thought was Mothman flying around the reactors, and then it perched on a square building. And it perched there for 5 seconds, and then took off. And then it starts coming towards them, and they see the red eyes, the red glowing eyes, and they know it's looking dead at them. And it's not trying to hide itself. It's not trying to do anything. It's wanting them to see it. And then it just disappears, takes off. It wasn't until that American got back home that he found out that that earthquake had just happened there after he had left, and that nuclear disaster happened. Another thing is Chernobyl. Was it Ukraine? Well, the Soviet Union then. There's sightings of the Mothman flying around the reactor number 3, I believe it was, before it exploded and killed people.
Wow.
It has showed itself. Salem, West Virginia. It has showed up. Multiple people have seen it. Multiple people. And then a bunch of children went missing. Right before the swine flu outbreak in Mexico in 2009, Mothman was seen there, everywhere. And then the swine flu broke out and killed multiple people. The Silver Bridge, what we talked about.
Yeah.
He was sighted there before the bridge collapsed.
They said that there were sightings of him in Point Pleasant when the Silver Bridge collapsed, up to a month before it happened. Like, he was giving plenty of warning of what was going on. But I mean, still at the same time, if you just know he's just in a general area.
Yeah, but a lot of the sightings were him atop the bridge. That's So I mean, I definitely feel.
They said that there was like no rhyme or reason for that bridge to have collapsed either. Was
exactly. No. They blame it on a faulty I-beam. Is what they blame it on, but it was during rush hour.
Yeah.
Which there was a lot more stress on the bridge at that time during rush hour. Another thing is I know I don't really like to talk about this, but we hit on it last week. Is 5 days before 9/11 happened, there was multiple reports in New Jersey and in New York City of the Mothman being there 5 days before the plane struck the buildings, the World Trade Centers. So there are also reports that you could see. I'd never seen this, but people are stating that through the smoke and stuff, you could see the red eyes glowing.
I feel like that one would be way too hard to try to prove because I mean, just with all the embers and stuff like that floating around.
Yeah.
One thing that is hard to disprove is that worldwide, years of history.
Yeah.
American, German, Japanese, Mexican, Native American, no matter what, it has different names. Thunderbird is one of the names that the Native Americans call it. The description has remained the same of this humanoid creature that's anywhere from 6 to 8 foot tall with huge wingspans and bright red glowing eyes that draw you to it.
Now, makes you wonder, is there one singular Mothman or is there multiple?
That's the thing.
I mean, if you're talking about, if it's going back to Native American times, you know, you're talking about if that's before the settlers came, back to what, 1400s? We
don't know, it never gave a date. But they call it the Thunderbird. And every description is that it flies straight up like a helicopter. Shoots straight up.
So, I mean, from all the information that you've given, because I didn't know some of that stuff. I feel like he's definitely an omen of something bad to come.
Yeah.
So maybe he is like.
But is he the one that's doing it, or is he or does he just know and he's warning?
Oh, another thing that I read was that the sightings of Mothman were kind of like one of those things that were connected with sightings of UFOs. Like,
Yeah, I did read that.
some people even believe that he may be like an extraterrestrial being.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What if maybe, this is gonna sound crazy, but what if it is an extraterrestrial? You know, and they have the ability, if they're able to go between planets, the ability to go through time.
that's what I was about to say. Maybe he's like a time traveler.
That's a theory I never really thought of.
I mean, that would explain how he's able to be in all the different places.
Mm-hmm. Well, that, and like I was saying earlier with Fallout 76, is the way they actually described the Mothman is they went kind of like a generalist type idea. It's actually a legit moth, but it has the bright red glowing eyes, but there's multiple types. You have a good one that gives you like an enlightenment perk, and then you have one that tracks you down and hunts you. It makes you feel vulnerable and then attacks, and then when you're starting to get the upper hand, it's gone. And then it's behind you. So you look at all these connections of these natural, well not natural, but these man-made and some natural disasters, and you can't help but say, is he the one doing it? Or is he literally trying to tell us, hey, you need to leave? I mean, honestly, when you look at the children coming up missing in Salem, West Virginia, and then you look at that, you're like, well, was he the one taking the children? But on the other hand, he saved coal miners from going into a coal mine.
Maybe he was there to let them know that something bad was happening.
That's the thing we don't know.
And the thing is that even if you determine that that's how you want to look at it, then you look and you see, okay, well, I see Mothman, but what am I supposed to be avoiding at that point then?
Well, normally what they say is other than the swine flu and all that and the children missing, is normally he circles. He'll circle in the air and stay there or hover above where it's supposed to happen.
So if you see him somewhere, you better just turn the opposite direction.
Like, growing up, I mean, you hear about this, and growing up in West Virginia especially, that's all we knew was Mothman, Mothman.
Yeah.
That's all we heard about growing up was Mothman. And honestly, up until a couple of days ago, I only associated Mothman with Point Pleasant, the bridge collapsing.
Yeah.
That's all I really associated with the big statue in the Fallout 76.
The
The
Mothman.
Mothman prophecies.
That was a really good movie too, by the way.
But when I started reading more and listening more, that he was in Chernobyl, he was in Japan, he was in Salem, he was in Mexico, in Germany, and there's a host of other things that I have left out on this list that he has been cited at. And it's always the same story.
Yeah, I feel like that in this case, the local, I guess, law enforcement, whatever you want to say, they were trying to be like, oh, it's just migratory, like cranes that are out of season. Their migration got messed up. They always try to find a way to explain this stuff so as not to, make people believe that it's true. But they literally described him as a tall, slender man with wings, about 7 foot tall. So how can you mistake something like that for a bird?
Right.
I've never seen a 7 foot tall bird.
Like, if you look, like, if you go to AlexandriaGhost.com, they literally call the Mothman the harbinger of doom. I don't know if you could really call him that. See, another incident is he showed up in Moscow in 1999 hovering over a set of apartments. And it was shortly later the apartments were bombed.
Honestly, I just feel like that he shows up to let you know that something is coming.
Yeah. I mean, even to the point where you were talking about the people that, he followed, he never hurt them. And from the sounds of it, he would have had every opportunity to if he chose to.
Well, normally,
who knows, maybe something they were doing that if he wasn't there, maybe they would have tried to speed or something like that and would have ended up wrecking and dying or something.
See, the thing is working in the field that I work in. You do a lot of studying, and I got a criminal justice degree. You do a lot of studying in people that like to lie and like to tell different stories, and normally they immediately want to go into telling you everything. But this is the first eyewitness report. The man literally said, "If I had seen it while by myself, I wouldn't have said anything. But I had 4 other people with me. Well, 3 other people with me." That tells me that man seen something. Because if you were so scared that you're like, I'm not even going to talk about it, but other people were there.
Yeah.
You seen something.
Yeah.
You seen something.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And, you had the Silver Bridge collapse, the Mothman Prophecies movie. I mean, you have so much folklore about the Mothman. So, I mean, it's a global phenomenon that has happened. And then the Mothman Festival is in September, every 3rd weekend. So just like just like everything else, like with folklore, is the town has really embraced it as a good thing. So it's hard to really say that it's the Mothman bad, is the Mothman good. I don't know.
I feel like as West Virginians more and more likely to embrace it because we have the whole thing here and we heard it all like growing up about Mothman, and then you have like all this set out pepperoni cheese rolls and Mountain Dew for Mothman.
Yeah, right. That's the West Virginia story. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to do that West Virginia thing. You got to set out pepperoni rolls and Mountain Dew for Mothman.
Yeah. So I mean, we embrace him here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can understand why some other places may not. They may see him as, like, what'd you say, a harbinger of doom?
Yeah, that's what they say, is a harbinger of doom.
Maybe he is, but he's not the one responsible for the disaster that follows.
No.
There was like the first actual sighting, I was corrected, was in 1966, where he was hovering over a TNT area, was what they called it, but it was like a World War II area. It looked like little domes that had barrels of gunpowder. 2 people seen him hovering over that, and there was an explosion there shortly after.
So yeah, definitely a harbinger of doom to come, but
is he the one that's causing it, and can you contribute those to him?
I don't think so.
Or was it just warning signs that we didn't heed?
I honestly, that's the way I lean with Mothman, because I feel like he's just trying to let us know, like, hey, something's going to happen over here.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like kind of like the coal miner story, they were too scared to go into the mine because he was standing there. So they didn't go in and didn't ultimately die.
Yeah.
But then,
he could have easily have just sat there and watched them go into the mine.
Yeah. So is that his thing? He scares people away from where the disaster is going to occur?
Well, there's very few reports of him actually screeching. I mean, there's just people hearing it, but like in Germany, for example, he literally was telling them, "Go away, go away," is what he was literally telling them.
But
I wonder if maybe he had been in that area prior to that day and nobody paid attention, or everybody was just shrugging it off or something like that. And finally, he's like, "No, you guys are going to listen to me."
Yeah. So, but I mean, maybe he doesn't screech, but I mean, I feel like if there's an area I normally go into, and then I see Mothman standing there, you don't even have to make a noise. I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm not going over there.
Yeah.
And what the what people said it was, the people that's, who obviously are the ones paid to downplay everything, they said that it could be attributed to out of migration sandhill cranes or herons.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
Now, here's the thing, man.
What is it? Well, let's get a picture of that.
A heron stands about like that tall.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And it's... No. I'm sorry. You could tell the difference between a crane and a 7-foot humanoid creature that can fly with red eyes.
I mean, herons are pretty scary looking. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't even know what they look like.
I mean, we get some down here on the river every now and again.
Yeah, you'll see them down here.
But like you said, this is a 7-foot tall humanoid creature. It's his wingspan. If he's 7 foot tall, his wingspan's got to be.
They said it's half of a row, like over half of a row. So that could, like I said, anywhere from 8 to 14 foot.
Yeah,
I've heard about
what type of road it was.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no mistaking that for. I mean, maybe if you was like, hey, there's an ostrich over here, maybe, but.
Why that ostrich got red eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
They literally said on the Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix that the last sighting of Mothman was last year, April 2024 in Illinois.
What happened? Did anything happen?
That's what I'm about to look at. Oh, man.
So, Mothman's still being sighted. We embrace him here in our culture, in Appalachia. But, I mean, if Unsolved Mysteries is covering it now, I feel like it's almost become, instead of folklore, it's almost become like a conspiracy thing. Because, I mean, we talked about this before, the government will hide stuff from you.
Oh, absolutely.
So maybe they do know that he does exist. Maybe they've caught footage of him. Because I actually read a thing that said that it was believed for a while that his home, quote unquote, was like a military storage base. So, I mean, I'm not, like, maybe the military has him on camera at some point in time and they know he actually exists, but they're not, you know, it's one of those things like with the aliens and such, they're not going to tell us, like, hey, this creature's real, because then people freak out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Be living in fear their whole life about stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, in a way, we do live in fear.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you hear about all these. My thing is you got the Mothman, you Bigfoot, Flatwoods Monster, the Grafton Monster, Sheep Squatch, all these animals in West Virginia history, which West Virginia is one of the most, like, folklore-rich states.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's engulfed in the Appalachian Mountains. It is rich in history of folklore.
Yeah. Well, because we're a melting pot of different cultures here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's not only the melting pot. There's Indians or Native Americans that lived here long before us, and they have the same encounters.
Yeah.
Is it just stories being told over time and then mass hysteria kicks in? Because, I mean, you got to think, a bridge collapsing in Point Pleasant, you see people float. There was people that I've read reports that didn't know the bridge collapsed, and they went and looked at they were standing by the river and seen bodies floating down and cars floating down the river. Do you think mass hysteria kicked in where your mind starts playing tricks on you, you start seeing this? Or is it factual?
Yeah.
Why would so many people explain the same thing, like, over and over and over?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that.
And my thing too, like, you know, you're talking about like all the different folklores we've got in our state. Is it just something about our state that would drive all these humanoids and different things to our state? Is it the mountains that they like? But, you know, if that's the case, why don't we see anything about it in the Rocky Mountains? They're not like that tall of mountains.
Well, I feel like here we have a lot of seclusion.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, we have a giant telescope and a giant radar in West Virginia
The Green Bay. Yeah.
that you're not even allowed to have cell phones around. So what are they doing there?
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole other issue.
So, I mean, but it does make you wonder, what is it about West Virginia, you know? There's, again, you know, is there something about our state that we don't know about? Because that's kind of what it starts to seem like at some point.
We do have a lot of, like you said, a lot of folklore, a lot of cryptid sightings. I mean, I don't know the factual statement on this, but I feel like, you know, we have a lot compared to some other states.
I feel like it's a lot compared to the national average. I mean,
Yeah.
Florida just has Florida Man.
Yeah, right. Florida just has they're just their own beast right there.
Yeah,
But
their biggest thing is their own people.
Yeah.
But with the Mothman, like I said, I know I've said it like about 15 times, but we don't know if the Mothman's just bad.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think he is, and that could be just the West Virginian in me, but
But you got to think, everybody that says that come in contact and seen the eyes, they instantly get that fear and that dooming, something's not right.
Like the feeling of impending doom.
Yeah, impending doom. Like something's not right. So that means, you get that a lot though with the supernatural. You get that feeling that something isn't right.
Yeah, but in his case, in every instance, something's not right, and he is trying to, I feel like, scare people away from the area that this is about to occur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that, I just think that he's not
I don't think he is either. Because
or I guess he is, but
I think he's just more of a warning sign. I don't think that he's, it's just like, hey, something bad's gonna happen here. Take it or leave it, type of thing. Like, with the exclusion of the coal miner incident, he's kind of very not like he's there and he's giving the warning signs, but he's not like forcing people away.
Right.
Let's be real. With the bridge, for instance, you don't think if he wanted to, he couldn't have scared all those people away from that bridge? I mean, it was rush hour. I mean, I feel like if he would have flown low around that bridge, I would have hightailed it off that bridge. I would have left my car, I would have grabbed my kid and I would have taken off running before the second I saw him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true, but then you caused mass hysteria, then it could have got more people killed.
Yeah, that's true too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's like Doctor Strange and he can see like the way that it plays out no matter what he does. If he does things a certain way, he knows what the outcome will be. So he goes by what causes the least amount. And with the coal miners, maybe he weighed out the odds and he saw that if he did anything else, they go in there and they all perish. Mm-hmm. And that's why he had to intervene the way he did. Yeah. Whereas with, maybe just showing up around Point Pleasant and, being around the bridge, maybe it was just enough, there were still a lot of casualties, but could have been worse.
I keep getting cold chills.
Well, it is very cold down here too, though.
Yeah. Well, it is literally a basement, and we are literally flooding.
And the heater is out.
Yeah. So one more point on Point Pleasant is they do have a giant metallic Mothman statue there, and I'll include a picture of it at the end of this video. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like Mothman is definitely our most beloved creature in this state as far as cryptids go. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have some other ones that people talk about. The snallygaster I really didn't even hear about until we decided to look it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've got like a long list of all this folklore, and the sad part is I feel like we're still leaving some out. Is the sad part.
We are leaving a lot out of the Mothman.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm talking about just like you look at the folklore, like different folklores. Like, I mean, and there's already a lot on this list.
Yeah.
And I know that we've got listeners from different states. I'm sure they love hearing about our folklore. But if you're from another state and you're listening to us, comment on whatever platform you're on. Let us know about some of your folklore. We'd love to learn about it and dive into it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, if you guys want us to cover Mothman more, because there's a lot more we could go into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're just scratching the surface. We're just talking about the events, from a very broad point of view about him being there.
And who knows? You may see your boys in Point Pleasant during Mothman Festival.
Yeah, definitely.
It may happen.
Oh, absolutely.
It may happen.
I feel like we owe Mothman a pepperoni roll, Mountain Dew, and a picture with his statue.
They actually have there's like a place there that serves a pizza that's got Mothman's face on it.
Awesome.
Like they really embrace everything. They've got breweries in the area that have special Mothman beers.
Yeah, there's a line of beers.
It's IPA. It actually is sold right down the road from here.
Oh, really?
At Grant's.
Yeah.
It's probably overpriced at Grant's, but
Mothman IPA.
Yeah. It's at Grant's.
Yeah.
It's in a can.
So we've really embraced Mothman, and I feel like that that won't allow me to believe that he is the one that's causing all these disasters, but he is trying to prevent them.
With that being said, if you want to learn a lot more, and it's not going to be 100% historical accurate, give Fallout 76 a chance. It is based in West Virginia. All the monsters are West Virginia folklore. Of course, you've got your normal Fallout monsters, but all your monsters are West Virginia folklore. And it's a great game. It represents, some folklore in West Virginia. It's really great, and I highly recommend it if it's something you want to look into. Now, we're not paid to say that or anything. It's just something that, I feel like if you want to look into it furthermore, then it's on there. Sorry, I got distracted. It even goes into some folklore that I never heard of. I've heard of the name, but never really knew it was a West Virginia thing. Was like the Wendigo, for example. If you guys want to hear about the Wendigo, let us know.
Skinwalkers. There's a ton of things.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like that was a good coverage of the Mothman. We are going to go outside here in a little bit and give him their offering of pepperoni rolls at Mountain Dew. We're going to take care of that tonight.
Man, did somebody spot him recently with all this flooding we got going on?
Well, we had 9 inches. We had 6 or 7 inches of snow. Middle of the week, it's flooding now. We're supposed to get 9 more inches of snow. We may have already got that by the time you're watching this episode, so I don't know. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this mini-series on Appalachian and West Virginia folklore. If this is something you really want to hear more of, give us a shout. Let us know. We are fortunate, though, and we didn't really talk about it, to literally live right down the road from Lake Shawnee. So if you want to hear about Lake Shawnee, the #1 haunted place in West Virginia. Yes, #1. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is #2 to this place. Lake Shawnee. Let us know in the comments, and we will talk about it. We might even go there. I know I've drove by it hundreds of times in my lifetime. I know what it looks like. I've fished it. So they got a lake.
Hopefully this flood doesn't take out the old Ferris wheel and things that are still there.
Yeah, this is a very historic flood in this area.
Yeah, this is
prayers and thoughts go out to everybody affected by that. Hopefully by now,
Absolutely.
Everybody's good. There is reports of people missing, so just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Keep their family in your thoughts and prayers.
hopefully by the time this airs, they've been found safe. They're somewhere warm and safe.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. But with that being said, that was top level content from the lower level. Thank you for joining the basement.
Hold on.
Oh wait, I lied to you. We got one more thing.
I got something to say.
Okay.
So, definitely want you guys to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Want you to follow our TikTok. Go find us on Facebook. Give us a follow there. Also, w.gg. Promo code TheBasement10. Get 10% off your order. They have awesome energy drinks, awesome hydration drinks, cool little shakers, cool apparel.
Absolutely.
They got a little bit of everything. Go over and check them out. w.gg. Promo code TheBasement10. Get 10% off your order.
And by the time we record again, I will have their products here on the show to show you guys. Unfortunately, West Virginia has been hit with a snowstorm and flooding, so shipping has been a little bit behind. So it's not Noby's fault. It's West Virginia's weather.
Well, and then we got Monday being a holiday.
And Monday's a holiday, President's Day or George Washington Day, depending on where you're at. I don't know what the difference is in it, but absolutely, we good to go now.
I think we got it covered.
All right. Now it's top level content from the lower level. Thank you for watching The Basement. Y'all have a great weekend.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Stories come along for the ride. We're building a community, one listener at a time. Follow and subscribe. Let's make this climb. Feel the rush as